I mean,
I
well,
know, I know.
I know. Hi guys, Oily here. Thanks for coming. Camera is still not wanting to work. I think it's our internet connection. So sorry you don't get to see my mug today. But everybody make sure your externals um,
Muted.
muted. All right, so today we're going to talk about securing your home or homestead in like a very major disaster. Like there's basically no rule of law. You've got people, marauders going around, things like that. I mean, I'm thinking of a Puerto Rico situation. You look at
Right.
what happened there. Within a week, people were already busting down people's doors, taking their stuff, attacking people. It was just a huge mess. So what we're talking about, it would have to be like a major situation, an EMP, major disaster over a large area to where help could not get to you. So that's kind of what we're talking about. And we are going to start here in a minute. Thanks to my panel, the Oklahoma Prepper, Mouse Toes, Squibload, and Hawaii Volcano Squad. Thanks for coming, guys. Thanks for being a part.
In Puerto Rico, all of a sudden their last cell phone went down. It's because they stole the generator power in the cell phone and the gas for it.
Uh-huh. And also there, because of the disaster, there wasn't a way to get supplies from the docks through to the people. So they didn't have electricity, no clean water, the police to speak of to help.
and
so
the main thing they didn't have is since there was no internet, they had no banking and no fiat currency to trade things. So it was barter for anything.
And yet 2 weeks ago, out of the 20 Walmarts they had, 15 of them were able to take debit and credit cards. So
Walmart has their own independent system for the they have their own independent satellite system to
but there's a lot of people who shop at Walmart there, who were able to get things. But gosh, what a hot freaking mess that was. And now trying to get the union workers to move the stuff that's on the docks and not fight for more money. How about just go help your people, for crying out loud?
I think people are just gonna naturally get off that rock.
I had heard things about that they had the refrigerated trailers on the docks, and they were hooking up generators to them to keep all the goods cooled in them. And the problem was they didn't have trucks, or they had trucks but they didn't have fuel, or they had trucks with fuel but they didn't have drivers, or they had trucks drivers but the roads weren't cleared. So it just seemed to be a snowball problem after another. And here are all these they call them reefers, rated semi-trailers lined up in rows with all these generators in front of them plugged in and keeping them cold, and they can't do it. It's kind of like when they send relief aid to Africa and the stuff sits at the airport and they can't get it out of the airport because the warlords got the airport surrounded and won't.
If you want to stay alive in a place like, apply for a job at Walmart in Puerto Rico.
Yes.
That way, I'm serious. They've got air conditioning, they've got food, they've got internet, they've got their own little banking thing, and I don't see how you can stay alive if you don't work at Walmart, because there's no banking. If you don't, unless you have a big stack of fiat currency, it still works. I mean, gold and silver, you'll wind up getting 50% of the market value of it if you try and sell it for fiat currency, because it's hard to get, because with no internet, there's no banking. And with no power, there's no internet.
Have yourself set up for stuff and lay low. That's what the heck you got to do.
Yeah, that's why you have the stuff already put back. That way you don't have to go out in any of that. You don't have to worry about bartering with anyone. You don't have to worry about going and putting yourself at risk to try to find what you need, because you already have it. Hey, Southern Ark Homestead. Hey, BC, Hidden, Finger Lake, Sandy.
Well, people are going to knock on your door if they notice the smell of food, power, lights, or anything unusual about your residence. There's going to be a knock on the door.
They won't make it up my driveway, bro.
If you with, that's not a bad thing, but just understand that you're not going to get the total value for what you barter for. They're going to take it and give you whatever they give you in the hopes that he comes back, that they can cash it in and make some real money. And you have to decide if you weren't prepared enough with enough supplies, or your supplies got destroyed or damaged in this situation, or you got raided but they never did find your stash of gold or silver, what you're going to use it for, how much do you have, how do you hide it, and then, like you guys are talking about, just getting there with it, you might get attacked on the way for God. So there's a risk with everything.
Yes.
As cigarettes are also a valuable, tradable, barterable commodity.
I think people would kill for those. That's what's really sad. But I don't want to barter nothing. I'm just laying low, keeping my little mouse fanny down low. I ain't got nothing, and you ain't going to make it up my driveway to knock on my door, because I'm going to pop a cap in your ass.
I thought we weren't supposed to talk about that kind of a thing on this chat. Because it'll make YouTube mad.
Simple sentence. Didn't show nothing, didn't say nothing.
Just like your floor condo, she's in an elevated position. She can see people coming in.
Oh, yeah.
I just need to set up some hedgehogs at the front of the condo.
Hedgehogs. And you need some oily porcupines. Is what you need, man.
They make good pets, I bet.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Hey, good night, guys.
Good night, Squib. Get some rest.
Yeah. Freedom Bushcraft Alan, I'm doing great. Glad to see you. I haven't been on the internet a lot except for my chats. Every once in a while I go to Hawaii's as a guest, but I haven't been on much, so don't think I'm ignoring you. I think about you all the time, and I always end up seeing your notifications after the fact.
Who, me?
Okay, BC says, BC for short term and silver for long term. I have enough rice and beans to feed an army and enough guns and ammo to arm an army. I'm the gray man, or is that gray man?
I don't know how to spell gray either.
But yeah, we're just okay. We're thinking, okay, say something happened and you didn't see it coming. Say you live in the middle of town and you don't have access to a lot of stuff. What are some ways to improvise some security for your homes? One item that Oklahoma Prepper and I discussed before was, like, heard this idea from somebody else, taking some large nails and hammering them through a 2x4, and then screwing that 2x4 into your window seat, in your window sill, with the nails or screws sticking up.
If you have any kind of forging capability, all you need is 2 nails, and you just bend them around each other, and you have the caltrops. It's ancient weapon. They used to use them against. They've been using them since the Hannibal against Hannibal's elephants. How to break it? It's basically just 2 nails forged. Just in the middle of them is they're bent in a kind of in the shape of a U, and whichever way you throw them, there's a nail pointed up, and scatter those a few of those in your driveway, and nobody will make it up without saying ow. And of course, you can't really do that if there's the rule of law. It's only for shit hits the fan.
That's what we're talking about. We're talking about a major disaster situation here where pretty much anything goes so that you can protect you and yours. Right. So that's kind of what we're talking about right here. Hey, Faith, Jared, glad y'all could make it. Yeah.
We talked oily in the little off chat, and BC will be familiar with this. In New Orleans, down in the French Quarter, everyone has like either a cinder block or a large brick wall, right up against the sidewalk in the quarter. And they mortar in broken glass. And like we said in the off air, the only time you can do that is in an SHTF situation, because other than that, you're endangering people who just want to come take your stuff, or molest your whatever. But that's the perfect thing. And of course, God knows there's broken glass everywhere, so it's not hard to get. But I also like the nails in wood. We had tire tracks in our yard here one day that went toward where our kayaks are, and we're very rural. We're in a protected wetland, so there's only 700 people who live here full time, year round, on a beach and an island combined. And so my husband did that with nails and then buried it. So if they choose to go off our slag driveway, they're going to end up with at least 2 flat tires. You know, like going through the drive-in when you're trying to sneak in for free. So that it does work.
You still have drive-ins?
Yeah, we still got drive-ins. They play porn, but we still have them. Mm-hmm.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
All right, I won't ask about that, even though I'm curious, but go ahead.
Okay, if you have a high fence in your yard and you're trying to prevent people from crawling over it, I've seen this done as well. Take something, bamboo or whatever you have around your home, even sticks or branches that you can sharpen, and reinforce in your yard to where they're facing your fence, but they're about 2 feet from your fence. So if people jump over your fence and they land, they're going to have a bad day. So that's something else that consider. Also, like Oklahoma talks about, Frank, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, he talks about cactus. You know, this is a pre-thing. You can't just go out and get some cactus and throw it down in the middle of a disaster. So this is pre-planning. Cactus around your windows, cactus, you know, on the inside of your fence line, outside of your fence line, so that people are going to be deterred from wanting to crawl over that fence or in your window. So that's good.
Big dogs.
Oklahoma
what about
has
big dogs?
Big dogs are great. I have 4 dogs, and most people, heck, our meanest looking dog is the one that'll lick you to death. But he's a big dog and a pit bull mix, so most people don't get out of their vehicle unless they know us. So.
Right. Finga made a good comment in the external, which was a roll of barbed wire for a rainy day, because you can buy that. Remember, it's rolled up. It's in the good shrink wrap. It won't pop on you. It won't rust on you out, you know, or get ruined so fast. And then if you have to deploy it, you certainly could, you know, just drag it behind your pickup truck or whatever. But I'm completely down with that one. And I liked what you said about on the other side of your fence, a couple feet out, because people, you know, launch over a fence. I thought that was very smart.
Yeah, and also, if you think about it, somebody, you know, mentioning the barbed wire. Okay, we live on the farm, so we have a lot of barbed wire, but even just like some chicken wire, do you know how sharp that stuff is when you cut it?
Razor wire. Or if you want to get medieval, depending on how bad things are, you could do what the Spartans did at the hot gate. I mean, if there's a lot of dead people, you could build a wall with them. That'll discourage most people from wanting to raid your property.
Just hang them from your fence, and they ain't gonna come near you. Dead people from your fence. This is you next. If you come in or something, you know.
This is what happens to trespassers around here.
Just put a simple post, just a simple sign around their neck that says trespasser.
Yes.
And have them hang from your fence. That'll do the trick.
Then they put another sign there. I mean, may as well, if there's a lot of dead bodies and you have no way to bury them, they may as well make use of them. Put like a loot sign that says looter around one guy and then trespasser around the other guy.
Stack them in a pile, burn them, and just put a sign around that. Because, man, you do not want that thing hanging off your fence. I can smell it now.
Well, it depends, like I said, how crazy things get.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, who's got the time and the risk to be out there? But I need that stinking body away from out of my driveway.
How long is your driveway?
Oh, go ahead. How long is your driveway, Mouse Toast?
Vern, how long is my driveway? I have to ask Vern. 600 feet.
Probably. Oh, wow, that's a long driveway.
Mm-hmm.
Mine is probably 120 yards, maybe a little bit longer than that. So, yeah. But then there's also a back way, which we're gating up.
How about signs that say radioactive radiation radioactive storage area or something like that.
We talked about that before. Remember, if to be in a crowded neighborhood, unlike me or Oily, is definitely a way to make it look. Remember, we talked about using the X that they use in FEMA recovery and stuff, and to actually make it look like quarantine, disease, whatever.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Let me see. HRM says bury those dead folk proper. Yeah, I know. Normally I would say yes, but
Okay,
if I had to trim them out, I could let them sit there a couple of days
Halloween.
and then replace them with a new one.
It's Halloween. We should be able to talk about what to do with how to decorate your house with corpses or something.
Okay, Finga said contagious, and Faith had a good one. She saw a sign that read, "Trespassers will be prostituted. You've been warned."
That's the way to do it, I guess.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Oh, God. But yeah, contagious works. When I think of some of the neighborhoods we lived in before were right up on houses, it'd be like the British. There was an American one where it was lights out. It was just a really good series to make you think, just like 1.5 hours. It's still on YouTube. And that was people in Britain, right, in their little attached housing, and they're out cooking on their little stove tech, and their neighbor sticks their head up. Oh, we smell food. And I thought, oh my God, thank God I don't live in something that close anymore. And we think we look rural, but we're a protected wetland, but we're still, got some privacy.
Yeah, I can't really say what my plan is to if there's no rule of law, because it's only for, I'll bring it out if and when there's no rule of law, not before. But I do have a plan. It's just pretty crazy. So
right, but you got one. That's what counts.
I just hope I never need to do anything that's in my plan. Because
exactly.
I'll take the rule of law and cops and courts, even though if I disagree with most of the laws and lawmakers, I'll take the rule of law twice on Sunday and every day.
And no matter what age you are, when somebody says, "Oh, I'm 60 years old," okay, I'm a fossil. I can still rumble, right? Anyone can go take a basic self-defense class. Keep a necklace. You could have the little what do you call handcuffs? The the cop bracelets they put on you when they feel you up, and have a little pick on it. So no matter what age you are, you could still have a bat in your house. You can practice hitting things. It doesn't matter. Not if someone's
yeah, the girl from
truly
the suicide
handicapped.
Harley Quinn had a baseball bat with barbed wire wrapped around it. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yep, things work. Yep, but you have to have some way to do it, and you have to be on the lookout. You just what Oily was saying. They've got a back way. I know, Finga, I'm talking dirty now. So yeah, and not the kind with fuzzy on them either. We're talking cold hard steel here. But yeah, like Oily looking at putting a gate up in the back, and you just have to be alert. And binoculars, in the name of all that's holy, buy you some binoculars so you can see fog. Because if you're old like me with bifocals, you need binoculars. I got them everywhere.
And if you have, if money is no object, thermal.
Yeah, I ain't got that.
Go full predator mode.
Rain says just consider it a free exam, Mouse. No need to pay to go to the doctor.
And I think BC knows a few women in Louisiana. Okay, so he's probably a testament to this. But I grew up in New Orleans, and you have not been frisked properly till a New Orleans cop does it. And I don't mean back in the day, they didn't wait for a female cop to come. It wasn't even the law. But woo, little Catholic girls getting out like, hey, whoa, okay, yeah. But yeah, it's a female thing in Louisiana. It's like, dang, I'm just gonna go break law to get a cop feel, and that's where cop a feel comes from. Remember?
And night vision, Iridium 242 is correct. Yeah, if you can get night vision, that's even better.
Well, I think thermal. Yeah, thermal is good.
Thermal or night vision, yeah, something to let you know when somebody's out there or something's out there. And
yeah, invisibility is a great advantage. If it's dark and you can see them but they can't see you, that's just an incredible, amazing advantage.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
But it's
drones.
expensive. It costs money. It costs money.
Mm-hmm.
But say there's no electricity or whatever for a long period of time, and eventually batteries may run out, things like that.
Yes.
What are some other things, improvised things? Oklahoma, you have some ideas on some improvised things to consider. Some are more appropriate for country, but there's both. So won't you?
Yeah, I've got a few. Yeah, I wrote down a list, and some of these things I actually take and have prepared myself. The first thing you want to do in case of SHTF, as far as security, the first thing you want to do is keep your things out of sight and out of mind. If you're not advertising your gear, then they're not going to think, oh, I'm going to go loot him or her or break in and steal all their stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
hide your property and keep your property well maintained and keep your tools, your gear, your vehicles, your bikes, all that kind of stuff out of sight from the general public. And in some places that's a lot easier to do than others. Here in the country where I live, there's a road that goes right out my front. Off my front yard. There's a road that goes right alongside it. All I have to do is hide anything I need hidden in my backyard, and my house keeps it out of sight. Privacy fencing. You can go out and get you a bunch of 1x4s and plank them together and build your own privacy fence if you don't already have a privacy fence. And another thing is, the farther down the list, things get a little more expensive. So, and then of course, the most expensive part would probably be shrubbery or trees. There's several different trees that you can go out and buy that grow about 6 to 10 foot a year, and are sold to the general public specifically for privacy and windbreak. So there's a bunch of trees and vegetation that you can actually look for to help with privacy as well as security. Now, prevention is the next subject on the list. If you can't hide, your boat behind the house, and you live next to a river or a creek or a lake or something, then you have to try to prevent anything from happening, somebody from coming in. And I always go, this is my go-to for everything security, cactus. Cactus and other sharp vegetation. Cactus, last spring, I went out and put a bunch of cactus along the side of the road at my fence line so that nobody, over the year it would grow and nobody would want to try to run through that to get into my property. So, and cactus is probably the easiest thing you can do to, it's probably the easiest thing you can grow. If you live in an area where there's a lot of cactus, all you have to do is go out and cut you off a bunch of paddles, big cactus leaves, and cut them off really close to the base, and as many as you need, and just go out there and throw them out where you want them to grow. They will grow if you just throw them out.
So you have a boat. You have a boat surrounded by cactus.
Well, your property's surrounded by cactus. If you go out there, you don't even have to. I did dig a little bit, dig about that much, an inch down, just to get it to where it would stay straight up so that I could see it whenever I mow and weed eat. That's pretty much the only reason I did it. And just poured a little bit of water on there just to kind of whatever. You don't even have to do all that. So other sharp vegetation, we have a lot of yucca plant around here, and it is very, very sharp. The strings, it's very fibrous. The leaves are very fibrous and very sharp pointed at the end. And I do not like walking through yucca going to my hunting spot or my camping spot or anything.
I
So-
really like the Sonny Burnett Miami Vice boat security method. I mean, he basically has an alligator in his boat.
There you go. If you live where there's alligators, get you an alligator. So there's other types of sharp vegetation out there. You just have to look for it. I'm pretty sure everyone in the U.S. has some type of sharp vegetation somewhere in their area. So you just have to go out there and look for it and learn how to work with it, transplant it, and stuff like that. And you've got, and just like Oily said, this is an early preparation type thing. And not only is it for when SHTF, but just in prevention in general. If you have kids, or if you want to keep people from breaking into your house, breaking through your windows, all you have to do is plant a little bit of cactus out there, and that cactus will grow and it will get very big. You'll have to trim it, keep it trimmed every couple of years, maybe. But and the idea I got for this was a friend of mine, her mom, ended up planting cactus outside of her window and didn't tell her. Well, she tried to sneak out one night. That didn't end well. So, that's a great idea. Not only to keep people out, but keep your kids in. So
cactus can get top heavy over the years.
It can. That's why I say keep it trimmed down. And it does get really, really big, real stumpy at the bottom. But if that's the case, then dig it up, cut it down, dig it up, or just cut it down and let it grow back up, just like you would.
Yeah, you may have to repot them and replant them, and several times they can get top heavy.
Yes, very much so. We talked about barbed wire. Barbed wire is amazing. You may have to wrap it about 2 or 3 times because the barbs actually stick about 4 to 5 inches apart, just enough for you to grab your hand and kind of jump over a barbed wire fence. So you might have to wrap it a few times just to make sure you got barbs on just about every inch of that wire. Razor wire, we talked about that. It's a little more expensive. Well, actually, it's significantly more expensive.
And more difficult to deploy.
More difficult to deploy and very difficult to come across unless, you go out and find some that, on an abandoned area and somebody just gives it to you. But when you cut razor wire, what it is designed to do, when you cut that coil, it is designed to spring back. So if you do get a hold of some razor wire, be very careful with it. That is one of the security features that razor wire has. It will spring back and bite you. So any type of wiring or barbed wire or spikes, if you have a welder and a grinder and you can do a little bit of metal work, it doesn't have to be a lot.
Punji sticks you can do with a knife.
Punji sticks, yes. That's what I was getting at. You can do that with some iron, some sucker rod. What's that stuff that they put in concrete?
Rebar.
Rebar. Get you some rebar, get your grinder, grind it down sharp, make like a punji stick, and weld it to a long piece of metal strap and put it across your fence. That will keep people from climbing your gates and fences. Signage.
And take your beer cans and then put them around any tripwire that you have.
Yes. That will kind of give them a little noise, and then they'll just kind of run off. Signage. Anything from no trespassing to, you will be shot or you will be prostituted.
Or I saw this really great flag you could fly that says the beatings will continue until morale is restored.
Yes.
There you go. My no trespassing sign is a don't tread on me flag. So, that is my, don't mess with me, because I will come out and I will come out fighting. really quick, go back to the fencing, but even an electric fence, you can buy an electric fence at just about any hardware store around in any part of the U.S. because there's cows everywhere. So, it's not a big shock, but I don't want to mess with any electricity unless it's in the walls. That's the only place electricity is designed to stay in the walls. If you put a sign that says electric fence, I'm not going nowhere near that fence. So back to signage. We also talked about toxic waste or radioactive waste disposal sign. My luck, somebody would come over and dump a bunch of radioactive waste in my yard. That's why. But
you would grow like an extra toe or 3.
So we don't actually have a radioactive we don't have a nuclear power plant on the Big Island, so or anywhere in Hawaii.
So in Texas, if you paint a fence post purple, and it has to be where you can see it, so you can go down your fence line and paint every post purple. But that purple is a legal, no trespassing sign. Basically, what it means is if you get caught on that property, you will be shot and you will be killed. That is just a purple post on that. If you take a fence post and put it in and wrap it with purple, or take a branch down. A lot of people use mesquite branches for fence stays or fence posts. If you paint the top of that purple, that is, in Texas, that is your no trespassing. Trespassers will be shot and killed sign in Texas. And I actually, it's in other states as well, and I've learned that, but it's different color posts. But, animals is another thing to have. Dogs bark. If somebody's around the property, it doesn't need to be, they will bark. They will alert the owners. They will alert anybody nearby, and they will more than likely scare off the people that are trying to break in.
We have a donkey that does the same. He lets you know if there's wild animals and stuff on your land, which, can be a good thing.
If you sometimes you'll see a couple of donkeys in a cattle pasture and a horse pasture, and what that's for is because donkeys are mean. They will beat the crap out of a coyote. They will kill a coyote.
Yep.
And coyotes like to go and mess with your livestock, so they'll put in a donkey or two inside with the cattle and horses.
We actually have donkeys on the Big Island because they used them to carry coffee to the boat, bags of coffee to the boats when they down to the docks when they just had a inexpensive pier, and they still used to do that kind of thing. That's not how people ship things anymore, but there's still. I've seen wild donkeys just crossing the highway. They make great pack animals, obviously, if there's limited supply of gas. But I guess you got to feed them. So,
I'll tell you something else that would be a cheap prep to have, and those that have weapons can attest to this. A laser pointer. Sometimes all you gotta do is point one of those at somebody in a group, and if somebody sees that, they're all gonna go somewhere else likely.
All you have to do is point at them and say, "Hey, I've got my dot on you. You want to either run or I'll floor you. Whatever you want to do."
Well, far enough away where you're pointing it through a window where they can't even see if you have a weapon on you or not. But a laser pointer can be of good benefit. I've seen that on a live show. Somebody was pointing a laser pointer out the window. Well, actually, it was on a weapon, but they didn't know for sure if it was a laser pointer or a pointer on a weapon. And well, bam!
That is smart.
They saw that and they got the heck out of Dodge. So
that's
absolutely
great.
Something as simple as just a threat. Something to make it look like you have a laser-sighted weapon. That would. I know if somebody put a laser on me and said, "Don't move or I'll shoot." I'm moving. I'm not moving. Right. Don't shoot, please. So as far as animals, it doesn't have to stop at dogs. Like you said earlier, HVS, alligators. Put your alligator in a boat. If you live in an area with alligators, as long as you know where they are and don't mess with them.
So how do you, I wonder, it seems like if I had one, I put a bell on it or something so I'd know where it was.
They eat the evidence. They eat the evidence. They come in handy.
Yeah. So,
And as far as
And so if
laser
you
pointer-
actually have to have a confrontation with somebody and then the alligators could just dispose of the body is what you're saying?
Yes.
as far as the laser pointer goes, yeah, that you would give away your position. But this is the last resort.
Yes.
Resort people are fixing to get into your home. So that's something to think about. If they're just passing on by, yeah, you don't stick a laser pointer on.
If I've got my Tavor out and my laser on somebody, if they're knowing where I am isn't going to help them.
Yeah, well, and we do have Mr. Rain. I'm not gonna say what all we have, but yeah, we have something to back that up. But for somebody who didn't, it would just be a last resort. People are fixing to come in, and maybe this will deter them. This is a deterrent in the event that I prefer to have the real thing. We'll just say it that way. I'm trying to prevent saying the other thing because so many channels are being demonetized. Okay, people? Yep. So, yeah, I'm definitely not anti that and definitely have plenty of those.
Yep.
So don't think like that. But, yeah, we're just trying to give some other alternate solutions to that. Of course, I would encourage everybody to get themselves some protection. We'll call it that and be done with it.
So far, basically, we are all here. We are pro Second Amendment.
Yep.
So, but because YouTube is so finicky right now, we don't want to breach their policies and risk getting videos demonetized or even deleted from YouTube because several channels have.
Yeah, I'm at the point with the whole thing where I don't even want to monetize any of my videos because I don't want YouTube making any money off of me. I'd rather, because I mean, when you think about it, if I make $1, if enough people watch a video of mine, then YouTube will have made 100. I mean, so it's like
I'm nowhere near $1, and I've been monetized for 6 months. So I'm thinking, I'm still at. I don't even think I'm at a dime yet. I'm honestly thinking about demonetizing my account because of it, and that way I can speak freely on what I want. But
don't do it because it will build up to where you make it. And what happens is when you have a popular video, they end up putting it on something like Facebook, but you still getting a monthly income from something is side money. Like I call it side hustles. I work in a rescue kennel. I work at a real estate agent. I have a lot of little side hustles. And that little Google check comes out of nowhere, and you're looking at your bank statement, and your husband goes, "Homegirl, you got paid." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's just like a bonus." So don't demonetize it because they make money off of you regardless. And it still doesn't let you talk about anything you want. They'll then just hold your videos for 3 months for putting them up. Stay tough with your monetization. It's not easy making videos. Batteries for cameras aren't free. It is not easy at all. But hang in there with it, please.
Yeah. Anyways, back to.
I mean, if I do have a video that ends up demonetized, it's not a huge stress on me. I'm not really making anything off of it yet because I haven't got up to the 1,000 subscribers. I am accruing money. I'm just not actually getting it yet.
Right.
So, but they've demonetized maybe 5 of my videos in the last since 4 years. So that's not too bad considering how many videos I've put out. And I've deleted a lot of videos because I wanted it to be compliant with the Young Living when I was with them, and then ended up deciding screw it and put them, and I redid a lot of those. But I have a ton of videos that would have been probably 3 times what I have now if it wasn't for that. Hi, Caitlin. Welcome. Yeah. Anyway,
right,
but
so,
yeah, I'd encourage the monetization too.
Yeah. Back to the SHF security list. As far as animals go, it doesn't have to be just dogs. Any type of animal that is aggressive. Roosters are mean, and I found that out the hard way.
Yes.
As y'all know, my rooster I had for a few months and found out it was a bobcat that got him. But roosters, he would not let anyone in my property. He wouldn't let my sisters or my parents or the guy to check the light meter, read the light meter. He wouldn't let anyone on my property. Even the mail lady, she ended up leaving a package on my car, and then texted me later that day. Said, "Did you get your package?" I said, "Yes, thank you so much." She said, I wanted to put it by the door. We're supposed to put it by the door, but your rooster wouldn't let me get up there. So, roosters, something as simple as a rooster, chickens, if anything, the chickens are going to make noise, even if they're pinned up. They're going to make noise. They're going to raise attention. So think outside the box when it comes to, guard animals,
Well, chickens will also attract hungry people if there's a food shortage.
True. That's true. But at the same time, they will also make a lot of noise if they're being messed with, and they shouldn't be. So, that's a good time for you to come out and catch someone in the act and either deter them or take the next level of action. So think outside the box when it comes to guard animals for your property and home protection. So it doesn't have to be just dogs or roosters or any type of animal. Goats can be mean, sheep, stuff like that. And now, what happens if somebody does get into your property? Let's go to the next one: property breach.
Hold on, real quick. We also have bulls, nice big mean black Angus bulls out in our pastures. So that helps too, at least with people coming through the pasture. They could still get down the drive at this point, but that could be easily.
Have your bulls actually gored anyone?
One of our bulls got down my father-in-law and broke his pelvis. Of course, that bull's no longer with us, but
Right.
yeah, it broke his pelvis. So yeah, and my husband worked for a man, and it happened right in front of my husband. He had to get between the man and the bull. The bull knocked him down, and it was out in the lot, in a paved lot, and it knocked the guy down, and it smacked the back of his head, and blood came gushing out his ears and nose.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a very awful situation. So yeah, bulls can be pretty doggone mean. We try to get rid of the ones that are mean, but they, still, if it's not a familiar person or vehicle, yeah, they might get kind of protective. So
yeah, like I said, it doesn't have to be dogs, and it doesn't have to be chickens or roosters. Any type of animal, livestock, anything is really good with home security. Now, let's see. If somebody does breach your property line and jumps a fence, now we have to go into another mode of protection. You're actually starting to protect your property now instead of just doing a prevention. You're actually protecting. So, of course, you've got your animals. You've got your bulls. You've got your chickens, roosters, dogs. Something that will help protect your property, or if anything, give you enough notice for you to be able to protect your property. Now, of course, there's several kinds of alarms you can get. You can get the radio frequency and motion sensor driveway alarms. Those are very handy to have, but they require batteries or some type of electrical power. So you can make tripwires. However, when you do make trip alarms, the U.S. has a strict law on, and I understand this is going to be after SHTF, and you're not going to worry about that, but just in preparation for this, the U.S. has a strict law on booby traps and stuff like that. So you want to be very careful. They actually make audible alarms that when somebody trips the wire, it pulls that cotter pin out, and the firing pin jumps up and hits a 12 gauge or a bullet round blank that is completely I wouldn't say it's not dangerous, because blanks are dangerous, just as dangerous as a real bullet, so always keep that in mind. But they'll make a noise, and somebody hears a gunshot, they're not going to be there very much longer.
Right.
So You know, there's all kinds of alarms that you can make out of, you know, just anything.
Wasn't that Joe Biden who said run out and fire your shotgun twice into the air?
He's an idiot,
Wait,
yeah.
off your second floor balcony in the air, because bullets that go up don't come down. That's why he's still an idiot.
I'm on the 3rd floor, but
He's so smarticle.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We
Yeah,
live in
Just
a
fire it
small
now.
Whenever I figured a while ago, it wasn't at what you were talking about. It was at something Finger Lakes said a while ago that cracked me up. It just happened to be while you were talking. Sorry.
I am 100% pro-American, but there's some people that just don't need to be on TV.
Yes.
But and unfortunately, some of those people are our country leaders.
I wonder how they remember to breathe. I mean, I'm like, you're so stupid. How do you remember to breathe? Because thank God it's involuntary, because if not, they'd be blue.
It's like I would be smarter than them if I had a lobotomy, you know?
Yes. They make me want to lobotomize myself.
Oh,
Yeah.
goodness.
I just pierce my eardrums out and so I don't have to listen to them. It'd be one thing. But one of the things I was going to say on the audible alarms, that is a lot of people are really liking that, and that really is a great idea because
yeah, they have poppers. You can buy poppers, you know, that'll.
Yeah, you can just be those poppers, or you can just do something as simple as tying empty soup cans to a string and having a tripwire set up, you know, some things like that, you know, just cover them with brush or whatever.
Fishing wire is virtually invisible at night. Fishing line.
Exactly. So that's something you can do. Bells, like jingle bells, like for Christmas, if somebody's standing guard outside, you know, the jingle bells that you get in the craft department, that's something that's kind of loud. You can do cowbells. You can do, you know, there's so many things that you can improvise.
Just don't shoot any Christmas carolers by mistake.
Not those kind of jingle bells.
You're running on the fun, HVS. What am I going to do for fun in the wintertime now?
Oh my goodness. So, you know, there are different alarms that you can get for home protection, you know, home security, but you can also get motion lights, but again, they take up battery power, and you can get solar powered motion sensor lights, and they are very bright and they are very inexpensive too. You know, I was able to buy one here at a local hardware store a couple of years ago for about $20, and you know, we kind of kept it over our swimming pool so that we would know if somebody snuck in and tried to swim, or you know, if
solar powered motion sensors, they have those things. You can get them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Very good point. Yes.
So any type of motion sensor lights, motion sensor alarms, you know, a lot of it can be solar powered. Look into those. Of course, what does every business have? Cameras. Cameras are very much more expensive. In fact, let me reach over. That was a good shot of my face. How about y'all like that? My favorite place in the world to go, Harbor Freight. I'm like a kid in a candy store there.
Oh yeah.
I just got this in the mail today.
Hold on, Oklahoma, your volume is kind of messing up again. All right, try again.
Is that better?
A little better. It's still kind of cracking.
There's no telling what it is. I was looking through here earlier, and they have some surveillance cameras in here that are actually not too expensive with a little 4-channel monitor. Actually, they're on the back. $199 for a 4-channel wireless surveillance system with 2 cameras, and this I'm going to cover up my address and information, but you can actually access it from your phone. You can access the video from your phone as well. So surveillance cameras, you know, that, like I said, the most expensive things are going to be at the end of the list. You know, $200 at Harbor Freight for a little surveillance system. It's not entirely too expensive, especially for a surveillance system, but for being able to prep and secure your home, it's a little high on the budget. So we've covered, out of sight, out of mind, prevention, to kind of keep cactus built up and whatever. And then whatever happens if somebody does cross into your property breach. And let's say things get a little more scary. We're starting to go into a third or another civil war, and you actually have to protect your home and property from shooters. There's several different ways that you can prepare that, prevent that, and help bulletproof your area. And everything that I'm talking about as far as the security barrier, the idea behind that is everything that you see from the outside of your property looking in is a privacy fence. Okay, so you've got your privacy fence with your barbed wire or your punchy sticks on the top to keep people from. I found a thing on Facebook where you can go out. This guy had tons of 55-gallon drum barrels for $5 a piece.
Wow.
That's not expensive at all. There are a dime a dozen out there, and you can even get them for free, I'm sure. If you have a few of them stacked up around your house, fill them with dirt or sand and put them around your property to keep a barrier. And like I said, try to keep it as possible out of sight. That way, if they are going to shoot through the fence, they think they're actually going to hit you, but in reality, the rounds are being stopped by, a 55-gallon drum full of sand or mud or dirt. Refrigerators.
Hey, tell me your volume, boy. It's really backed off low.
Okay, hang on.
I've got your volume up as high as I can get it.
Is that any better?
Yes.
Oh gosh, yeah, way
In my
better.
top pocket, yeah.
I don't know. I just unplugged. There's no telling what's wrong. But refrigerators. Everybody's refrigerator eventually goes out, and what do? Throw it away to the dump and throw it away. People around here, if you have in your yard, you'll get a knock on the door saying, "Hey, can I take that, out of your way? I'll take it to the scrap yard for you, whatever." Yeah, you can have it. So you've got people that are even that are updating their appliances in their homes. That the refrigerator is just too small, or it's too big, or it's old, and I want a new one. You can get them for cheap, $20 for a brand new or for a good used refrigerator. Fill them up with dirt. Lay them down on their backs. Fill them up with dirt. Put another one on top. Lay it on its back. Fill it up with dirt. So now you have refrigerators full of dirt that are essentially bulletproof. They'll take if you do find for example, a 50 cal, I'm pretty sure it'll go through a refrigerator full of dirt, but the velocity by the time it goes through is weakened significantly. So anything that will weaken the velocity of that bullet, poly tanks, people are getting these old poly chemical tanks or blue tanks or whatever. They're these white square.
If you're being attacked by somebody with a 50 caliber rifle, you're in big trouble. I'll just put that out there.
What I'm saying though is the amount of dirt is going to slow down the trajectory of the bullet, the velocity of the bullet significantly. So that gives you a little more of a chance. Poly tanks with those little aluminum frames around them. A lot of people are using them for watering their horses, watering
I'd
cows.
say the only thing to do if you're being attacked by somebody with a 50 caliber is to hopefully you'll have some kind of smoke grenade and throw like all your smoke grenades and just run for your life.
Absolutely. So poly tanks, cut the tops off, fill them with dirt. A lot of people are actually making them making deer blinds out of them. So they're really easy. It's a big giant milk jug is all it is.
I've got this funny story that Mouse is gonna love.
Oh God.
It's called Get Out of the Car.
Get out of the car.
An elderly Florida lady did her shopping and upon returning to her car found 4 males in the act of leaving with her vehicle. She dropped her shopping bags and drew her handgun, proceeding to scream at the top of her lungs, quote, "I have a gun and I know how to use it. Get out of the car now." Unquote. The 4 men didn't wait for another threat. They got out and ran like mad. The lady, somewhat shaken, then proceeded to load her shopping bags into the back of the car and got into the driver's seat. She was so shaken that she could not get her key into the ignition. She tried, and then she realized why. It was for the same reason she had wondered why there was a football, a frisbee, and 2 12-packs of beer in the front seat. A few minutes later, she found her own car parked 4 or 5 spaces farther down.
That is what households would do.
She loaded her bags into her own car and drove to the police station to report her mistake. The sergeant to whom she told the story couldn't stop laughing. He pointed to the other end of the counter where 4 pale men were reporting a carjacking by a mad elderly woman described as white, less than 5 feet tall, glasses, curly white hair, and carrying a large handgun.
Mine would be she whipped it out of her bra, right from a bra. Oh my God, I love it. I told you that happened to my mother. She got in a Ford Granada outside where she worked and, you know, drove like 30 minutes down the road, needed something out of the glove box when she got to wherever she was going, a fabric store. And she went, "Oh, this isn't my stuff." It wasn't her Ford Granada. But the key, you know, that they make them in Pennsylvania fit the one down in New Orleans. And she had to drive back. And by then the cops were there. So she kept driving to pick up my dad to bring him and say she didn't steal it. The key fits both of them because it's New Orleans. And my mother thought they'd pop a cap in her. You know what I mean? So she didn't realize. It was just sad. But that is freaking hysterical. It wasn't her car.
Sweaty bra. We have the new or sweaty hashtag sweaty gun. Actually, I put the wrong thing.
PC needs comment bleach. Comment bleach. Not as bad as yellow urine. Oh God.
Hey, we have to have pretty much a weekly hashtag, and that's ours for this week.
It's better crotch rot.
Hashtag sweaty gun.
We had crotch rot, remember? Listen, we talk about things in here. This is a prepper's powwow. Nothing's off limits, okay? We're keeping it real, keeping it 100.
We are legit, man. Legit.
For real. We'll talk
real.
about it. We'll beat it down. For real,
Yes,
we'll beat it down. Keep it 100.
Okay, so I've got one more thing on the list, and then I'm done. Brick wall or a cinder block wall. You know, anything to help keep a lot of that velocity of the round making it through. So that's just a bunch of things that I have listed, and I will copy and paste these links in the comments below. So be sure to check them out if you guys haven't wrote them down.
Alternatively, you can, if you have the money, you could buy. I've seen them. You could buy a tank or an armored vehicle off of eBay or your local military base where they actually sell vehicles. They do that, so you can buy used government vehicles and tanks without the cannons on them.
Okay, I like Finger Lakes. Hashtag better. Hashtag high caliber bra.
There you go.
High caliber bra.
The bra holster. Even men can use them. Okay, just let's keep it real, boys.
Hooters. Hashtag shooters for Hooters. DC. Oh my gosh, I love it.
Oh,
okay, that's gotta be it. They're all awesome, but that's my favorite.
God.
Hashtag shooters for Hooters. We just put the number 4 there.
God.
Hashtag second base for the Second Amendment.
Yes. Oh, I like that. That's good.
I wanted to say that I really enjoyed watching the first two games of the World Series because they had the national anthem. They had 4 fighter jets flying over. Nobody took a knee, and it was just, I enjoyed watching it.
It's good.
Finga says the man bra would be a moob holster. M-O-O-B holster. Remember on the Seinfeld episode where he made the man bra? Oh, God. Ah, jeez, this is not right. BC said he's going to ban himself. You can't rent yourself, brother. It's not happening. You're stuck with us. You're a member of the powwow. I hate it for you.
Tutti frutti, BC. You just can't do it. Sorry.
You suffer with the rest of us.
That's right. All right. We'll hand out ice picks at our next giveaway so everybody can just punch their eardrums out.
You get handed one when you come in the room. Oh, God.
Oh, my goodness. Well, everyone, guess what? I know I probably missed some suggestions on the side comment. If I did, I'm really sorry. I was trying to keep up with the chat. I appreciate each and every one of you and love you guys. And if you ever need prayer, holler at me. You know I will. Thanks for coming. Thank you, my panel. Thanks for all the great ideas, everyone. I appreciate it. And we will see you next week. So
Bye.
thank you for this. Bye, guys.
Have a good night, everyone. Stay safe and keep prepping.